Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Of course, my predictions for this week were that number 1 would be Star Wars, frickin' duh. Number 2 would be The Hateful Eight. Number 3 would be Daddy's Home. Number 4 would be Joy. And that number 5 would be Sisters. And I only had one prediction correct. Anyways, of course that one prediction was Star Wars The Force Awakens making $90 million, adding to a total of $742 million. Now, this is $18 million away from Avatar. Star Wars is going to break the record of all-time domestic gross in, either by tomorrow or maybe it already has. That's how big this movie is. I am so pleased by this. Words honestly cannot describe how pleased I am by how much Star Wars has made. I freaking love the movie. It was my favorite of 2015, and I'm just glad that everyone is experiencing this film. And if you don't like Star Wars The Force Awakens somehow, then okay. Not really sure what to say to that, though. Anyways, number 2 was Daddy's Home, making $29 million, adding to a total of $93 million. This was honestly a lot higher than I thought Daddy's Home was ever going to get. I'm actually very surprised by it. I haven't seen the movie, though. The reviews aren't great, but if I ever do get the chance, maybe I will see it, but probably not because I don't really care that much for it. Anyways, number 3 was The Hateful Eight. It made $15 million this weekend, adding to a total of $29 million. Because remember, this was in limited release ever since Christmas, so it made a lot of money before this weekend, and its budget is $44 million, so it is $15 million away from that. I'm pretty sure it'll get there in no time, because it'll probably get a lot of buzz about how amazing it is, because it is an amazing movie. The Hateful Eight is one of my favorites of 2015, and hopefully if you haven't seen it yet, you do eventually. Number 4 was Sisters, making $12 million with a total of $62 million. This movie honestly didn't even really go down much. It made $14 million, somewhere around that, on its first opening weekend, and then the next week it didn't really go down much, and then this weekend it didn't really go down that much, so that's a pretty good thing. It definitely does have some staying power, because when Star Wars opened, literally everyone went to see that, but now that some people have seen it, they're like, alright, let's see the other movies that have come out, and they decided to see Sisters, as well as the number 5, Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Road Trip. This weekend it made $11 million, adding to a total of $67 million. And even though Sisters did beat it this weekend at the box office, overall, as a total, Chipmunks is beating Sisters by $5 million, which is a little sad. I haven't seen Chipmunks. I never want to. I didn't even see Chipwrecked, so why would I want to see Road Trip? And, yeah. Moving on, number 6 was Joy, dropping from last week, number 3, all the way down to number 6. It made $10 million, adding to a total of $38 million. It's $22 million away from its budget of $60 million. Will it get there? It'll probably get there. I'm pretty sure it will. I'm not entirely sure if it'll get a lot over $60 million, but it'll probably get around $60 million. I still haven't seen it, but it'll probably get some Oscar buzz, so maybe I do have to see it. I don't really know, though, so we'll see. I think they announced the Oscar nominations next week, or, no, not next week, 2 weeks from now? Probably. I don't care about the Oscars, though. Anyways, number 7 was The Big Short. It made $9 million, adding to a total of $33 million, and it just got $5 million over its $28 million budget, which is very good. I heard a lot of great things about The Big Short, so maybe whenever I get the chance, I will be able to see it. Will it get Oscar buzz? Yeah, it will, definitely. It's gotten critically praised, so it definitely will have some Oscar buzz. I don't know if I will be able to see it. Maybe I will. I don't know. Anyways, number 8 was Concussion, making $8 million. It got number 8 and it made $8 million. Yeah, with a total of $25 million, and it's only $10 million away from its $35 million budget. It'll probably get there by next week, and I haven't seen it, so I can't really say that much about it. I want to see it only because Will Smith. I heard Will Smith is really terrific in it, so I want to see Concussion mainly on that. I'm not a big football sports person because have you seen me? I'm a nerd. So yeah, I don't really get into that stuff, but Will Smith looks very interesting, and I want to see it just because of his performance, though. Anyways, number 9 was Point Break, still bombing domestically. It made $6 million, adding to a total of $22 million. It is like $83 million away from its $105 million budget, which it might be sad to the people who made the movie, but for the people who actually saw it, they are cheering because it got panned. Like, I think on Rotten Tomatoes, it has like around 5%, something like that. That's really, really low. The studio really pissed off everyone who was a fan of the original, and they're like, hey, we're gonna remake it and take a crap on the original, and then no one goes out to see it. Ha ha! In your face, studio who made this film that I haven't seen. And finally, closing out the top 10, Mockingjay Part 2. It's its last time here, probably. It made $4 million, adding to a grand total of $274 million. And this movie, it's had a good run. As soon as Star Wars came out, it immediately started to go down, which was very interesting to see. I liked the movie. It was decent, so I'm glad that it made a lot of money. It's not my favorite Hunger Games movie, though, so I'm glad it didn't make all the monies, but it made quite a few of the monies. So, if that made any sense. Anyways, goodbye, Mockingjay Part 2. And finally, the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Now, The Revenant is going to be expanding into some theaters, and a new horror film coming out in January starring someone from Hunger Games. That's immediate greatness, right? That's gonna come out, man. My predictions are that number 1 will be Star Wars once again. Obviously, why would you bet against Star Wars? I'm gonna say that number 2 is The Revenant, mainly because it's got a lot of buzz, and I think a lot of people will want to see it for Oscar season and stuff like that. Then I'm gonna say that number 3 is The Forest. I'm going to say that number 4 will be Daddy's Home, and then number 5 is The Hateful Eight. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below, and if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right, then whoopsie doodles, you'll probably get it right next time, or the time after that, or the time after that. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher, and please look out for my most anticipated films of the year video. That'll be coming out soon. I'm sorry that this video is late and that video is late. It's just I felt really unmotivated on Sunday to do box office talk, so I got behind. I was planning to do most anticipated today, but as I said, I pushed box office talk back, and it was just a mess. I'll work on it. I promise. Maybe.